6 new names just got added to the most stressful hospital in television. And if you know this show, you know that's not a small thing. We're talking about The Pitt, HBO Max's real-time ER drama that somehow makes an hour of watching people get triaged more tense than most action movies. Season 3 just started filming, and the casting sheet is already telling us where this story is heading. So let's actually dig into it, because there's more going on here than a simple cast list. I'm going to walk you through who's joining, who's leaving, why the timing of this season is different from the first two, and a detail buried in this news that most outlets glossed over. Stick around for that last part, because it changes how you should be watching this show. First, the basics. Production on The Pitt Season 3 began on June 16th. Deadline broke the news that 6 actors have joined a recurring cast. 3 of them are playing student doctors and medical staff. 3 of them are playing patients. Let's take them one at a time, because the roles actually matter more than the actor names here. Malachi Beasley, who you might recognize from House of Dynamite, is joining as student Dr. Taj Osei. Cheyenne Perez, from The Sex Lives of College Girls, is playing student Dr. Marisol Elena Sambrano Monterasa. And Rosanny Zayas, known for the L-Word Generation Q, steps in as physician assistant Vera Delgado. On the patient side, Pruitt Taylor Vince, who a lot of people just saw in Superman, is playing a character called Lance Candela, nicknamed the Professor. Jeremy Radin, from The Accountant 2, plays a patient named Grant Emerson. And Charles Williams, from SEAL Team, plays a patient with the nickname Trigger, real name Angus Gunn. Now here's the thing that jumped out at me. 3 brand new student doctors in a season that is still technically happening in the same medical training year as Season 2. That's not a coincidence, and it's not lazy writing either. The Pitt has one rule it never breaks. Everything happens in real time, hour by hour, across a single shift. Season 1 covered a shift in September. Season 2 covered the 4th of July. This show doesn't jump years. It jumps hours. So when new residents show up mid-year, the writers actually have to explain that logically, not just hand-wave it. And they've done this before. When Dr. Samira Mohan's actor, Supriya Ganesh, left the show, the explanation wasn't she vanished. The writers built a reason into the story. Expect the same treatment here. My guess, and this is speculation, is that these 3 new students simply weren't on Robbie's shift before. Hospitals run rotating schedules. A teaching hospital this size would absolutely have residents the main cast has never crossed paths with. It's a clean way to expand the world without breaking the internal logic that makes this show feel real in the first place. Let's talk timing, because this is the part that actually changes the tone of Season 3. Season 2 took place over the 4th of July. Noah Wall has said Season 3 picks up about 4 months later, set in early November before the holidays. Deadline has narrowed that further, placing it after Veterans Day and before Thanksgiving. So we're going from fireworks and heat exhaustion cases to a wintry shift, right before one of the most stressful weeks of the year for hospital staff. Think about what that actually means for an ER. Summer trauma cases are car accidents, heat strokes, fireworks injuries. Pre-holiday November in an emergency department looks completely different. You get a spike in mental health crises. You get family conflict cases. You get people delaying treatment because they don't want to miss holiday plans, then showing up worse than they should be. If the writers are as detail-obsessed as they've been for 2 seasons, expect the case of the week material to reflect that shift directly. Now let's address who isn't coming back, because that context makes the new additions land differently. Supriya Ganesh's Dr. Samira Mohan is out entirely, described as a story-driven decision rather than a scheduling issue. Shabana Aziz's Victoria Javadi is stepping out of the emergency department to work in psychiatry, so she may still appear, just not on the ER floor. And Sepida Mofi's Dr. Baran al-Hashimi isn't returning right away either, which tracks with her arc in Season 2, where her character was dealing with seizures and had to figure out whether she could keep practicing medicine safely at all. On the flip side, there's a genuine promotion happening. Aisha Harris, who played Dr. Parker Ellis, is being bumped up to series regular. If you watch Season 2 closely, this makes complete sense. Her character was pulled deeper into the unresolved malpractice case involving Taylor Dearden's Dr. Mel King, and the show leaned harder into night shift storylines in the back half of the season. Promoting Ellis to series regular isn't a random casting choice. It's the show paying off a storyline it's already been building. Here's a piece of context a lot of casting roundups skip entirely. And it's worth knowing if you want to actually understand why this show hits differently than other medical dramas. The Pitt isn't just filmed like a documentary. It's structured like one. Every single episode covers exactly 1 hour of a 15-hour shift. There's no time skip between episodes. No flash forward. You are locked into the same continuous shift the characters are living through, which is exactly why a new student doctor showing up mid-season needs an in-story explanation instead of just appearing. And there's a reason Noah Weil can sell that exhaustion so convincingly. He spent 11 seasons on ER playing Dr. John Carter from 1994 to 2009. That's not a trivia footnote. That's the entire reason this project exists in its current form. The Pitt was originally developed with direct creative ties to the ER team, and while stepping back into a hospital coat after over a decade wasn't a coincidence, it was the whole pitch. Which brings up one more thread worth watching. Season 2 ended with Weil's character, Dr. Robbie, in a genuinely dark place, cradling an abandoned infant after a brutal shift, with an unresolved question about whether he'd finally take a long-promised motorcycle trip to process everything he'd been through. Creator R. Scott Gimel has since confirmed Robbie does go, which means Season 3 isn't just introducing new faces into the ER, it's also picking up a lead character who just stepped away from the exact job we're about to watch him return to. So zoom out for a second. New winter setting. New students who need to be woven into an existing timeline without breaking continuity. A lead character walking back into the job that nearly broke him. A malpractice case still hanging over two major characters. That's a lot of pressure sitting on top of what's already one of the most stressful shows on television. And production is only about 2 weeks in as of this news. Deadline has already said more casting announcements are expected in the coming weeks. So this list of 6 is very likely not final. If the Pitt keeps its usual schedule, expect Season 3 sometime around January 2027, matching the same release window as the first 2 seasons. Executive producer John Wells has said the plan is to be filming through the summer and back on air the same week in January. That's where things stand right now. New doctors, a colder setting, a lead character walking back in a fire, and a show that has never once taken the easy way out of explaining its own timeline. If this is your first time hearing about the Pitt, now's a genuinely good entry point to catch up before Season 3 lands. And if you've been watching since Season 1, let me know in the comments who you think these new student doctors are actually going to clash with first, because based on how this show handles new characters, someone is not getting a smooth first shift. I'll be tracking every casting update as they drop, so if you want the next one the moment it's confirmed, you know what to do. See you in the next one.